Hey everybody, how's it going? Danny Soleil here, aka Travel Man Dan, aka Reading Man Dan, and welcome to day 42 of my 75 hard journey. Dab on you, I dab on you. You knew it was coming out. Hey, look, guys, feeling great. It is now 7:30. I have two more tasks to do. I have to read my book here, and I'm reading a new book off this. This thing is awesome. The Amazon paper Kindle, paper white Kindle, and I got a little bit left of my gallon of water. I was out, so I had to pick up one of these. But I'm going ahead and chronicling my journey on the 75 hard journey to see if I could go ahead and get through it and look back on the videos at some point. But mostly to go ahead and inspire at least one single person. So if you're that person and you're watching, you're doing it, you're inspired to do it, you're feeling about doing it, that's all right, a way of Dannyism. I don't know, but go ahead and put it down in the comments below. Let me know if you're doing it and how you're doing. So here we are, guys. I told you before, we had a up and down week, and look, that's what's going to happen. I'm just going ahead and making anywhere from 5 minutes to 10-minute video each and every day, and let you know it's possible. Yeah, it's harder, but it's a lot of fun. So we're going to get back onto the book that we're reading, The 75 Hard Tactical Guide to Winning the War with Yourself, written by the creator, Andy Frisella. Okay, this one's really cool because we're at chapter number 12. Okay, chapter number 12, and it talks about the hardcore 5 critical tasks of 75. And this is one of the most important, in my opinion, chapters of the book, because it talks about the 5 critical tasks that you have to do throughout the day, but it also reiterates the fact of how there is no variations, how there's no modifications, how there are no cheats. Do not cheat this. In order for it to work, you have to do exactly like Andy Frisella says. Okay, that's it. There's no any other if and buts about it. You cannot organize things the way that they should be for you just because it's hard for you or it's difficult. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to gain. It's supposed to drive you to build that mental toughness, to go ahead and do your outdoor workouts when it's 30 below zero. Or maybe that's a little drastic, but maybe you're way up in the Yukon somewhere and that's what the weather's like. It's supposed to drive you so that you can't modify situations in your life when things are tough and you don't want to do them. You want to procrastinate and you just want to put things off, to go ahead and hit them head on without thinking about it, without cheating. You just got to go and do it, right? So this is a very important chapter. Let's get right into it and see what the creator, Andy Frisella, talks about. Hardcore 5 critical tasks of 75 hard. Every valuable program in the history of Earth has ever powerfully transformed people's lives had a core foundation that was well thought out and carefully presented. The 75 hard is no different. What you're about to read is the foundation of the program that is going to help you cultivate mental toughness so that you can become the person you want to be and do everything you want to do. Ooh, that's powerful. Introducing the hardcore. These are the 5 critical tasks that are the heart of 75 hard. Notice he talks about the heart, right? It's basically the beating pulse. What is making this particular challenge, beat, function, work, however you want to go ahead and describe it. These 5 tasks are what you have to do to get through this particular challenge. Let me get some water going, guys. We're about to get into this shit, man. I love this. I love it. I love it. All right, here we go. Over and over on my podcast, at conferences, and in personal conversations, I've told millions of people that success is pursuing your own full potential. And that key to pursuit is identifying the critical tasks that need to be done every day, and 2, completing those critical tasks. That's cool. At the center of the 75 Hard program are 5 critical tasks that need to be completed every day. Before I tell you what the 5 tasks are, I need to tell you how they need to be completed. Here it comes. 1. The 5 critical tasks need to be completed every day for 75 days straight. Am I repeating myself? Yes. Will I continue to repeat myself throughout this book? Absolutely. Why? Because I have learned that people need the truth drilled into their heads again and again and again until they understand it and commit to it. So, let me be very clear and let me repeat myself. These 5 tasks need to be completed every day before you go to sleep. I don't care if you go to sleep at 8 p.m. or 1:07 a.m. All 5 critical tasks need to be completed every day before you go to sleep for 75 days straight. If you miss one day, you have to start over at day 1. Okay, I'm going to read that again. If you miss one day, you have to start over at day 1. Did you catch that? If you miss even one single hardcore critical task, you have to start over. If you miss even one task on day 74, you have to start over on day 1, which lots of people have done, by the way. The 5 critical tasks need to be completed exactly how I tell you to complete them. In other words, you cannot tweak or adjust the requirements of any of the tasks for any reason. You cannot say, for instance, well, I'm married and I have 3 kids and I have less time available than a single person, so I'll just work out each day for 30 minutes instead of 45 minutes. Nope, not allowed. You can't say, I'll commit to 5 critical tasks every day for 75 days, but I'm going to personalize it to my goals. It'll be my 75 hard. No, there's no such thing as my 75 hard or your 75 hard. There is only 75 hard. You complete the 5 tasks and set forth exactly as the program prescribes, or you aren't doing 75 hard. You are in fact doing 75 I bitched out. All right, I love that. Put a flame to it. Hold these friggin' people accountable, because if I'm doing everything that I said I'm going to do for 75 hard, the last thing I want is some jabroni out there that's not doing and modifying things to 30-minute workouts, or drinking 3/4 of a gallon of water, or having cheat meals because they made it to the weekend. That's bullshit. The fact you even think about changing it is exactly the sort of problem 75 hard will cure you of. Adjusting situations in life to make them more convenient for you and justifying it as better for your situation, okay? Instead of admitting the truth. You're being lazy. Oh, I love that, okay? So not only are you adjusting the situation so it fits to you, but also then you are going into and admitting, the truth of it, that's a little too hard. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Do it that way. In just a moment, you'll find out what the 5 critical tasks of 75 hard. If you've been following along with me, you'll definitely already know them. You'll also learn my rationale for choosing each task. But here's what you need to understand before that. First, if you're going to cultivate mental toughness, you need to know how to follow through with a plan to the letter. You have to know how to follow directions to the letter. You have to learn how to execute on what you intend to do, with no wavering, no deviation, no substituting, no justifying, no tweaking, no matter what. 0, 0, 0 fucking compromise, right? I love that. The reason I am 1,000% inflexible on this is that adaptations and deviations and little tweaks are always a response to someone thinking that the situation isn't ideal and conditions aren't perfect, right? Conditions and situations in life usually are never ideal, all right? So they feel like they have to adjust the situation to compensate for imperfect conditions. If you have that attitude, and look, most people do, guess what happens? That adjustment, that deviation, that substitution opens the door wide open for justifying why you just can't do it. Fill in the blank. And that justification leads to compromise. And I guarantee you, if you compromise your intention and commitment, it won't be long before you quit anything. I guarantee it. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in the lives of thousands and thousands of other men and women. It is a fact. And here's what you need to understand. The situation will never be perfect, okay? Conditions will never be ideal. You need to be able to efficiently operate, especially when conditions aren't ideal, because that's most of the time. If you allow yourself to respond differently to various conditions, you'll be the guy who sets out to do X, runs into obstacles and annoyances he didn't expect, and ends up quitting after 3 weeks or 3 days. Okay? Sound familiar? Then what happens? You crawl up on your couch, pop in Pacific Rim, and do nothing but stuff your fat face with Doritos and hate yourself for the rest of the year. Andy Frisella getting truthful on you. So there are no compromises allowed in this program. Zero. Not even 0.00001% adjustment of the requirements, okay? The second you compromise the exact requirements of 75 hard, and the second you are no longer doing the program, you have disqualified yourself, and if you want to keep going, you need to start over from day one. Second, if you're going to cultivate mental toughness, you need to know how to master the monotonous. You know what monotony is, right? Our definition is wearisome uniformity or lack of variety. My definition is the boring shit you ruin your whole life unsuccessfully trying to avoid. I guarantee you that as valuable as the critical tasks of 75 are, at some point in the 75 days, after you've done the same 5 things day after day, you're going to say to yourself, man, this is monotonous. This shit is boring. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I got to say, I'm 42 days in there. I'm just not there yet. I'm enjoying it. Too bad. In life, it's the boring shit you have to do to get where you want to be. Definitely agree with that. I'm talking about not even the remotely glamorous or exciting regular tasks you have to perform every day to move one step closer to personal and professional success, closer to achieving all your goals and dreams. You have to master the monotonous in order to become the ruler of your daily routine, which in turn leads you to literally being able to accomplish anything you set your mind to. That's friggin' awesome. I'm actually going to highlight that. Where the hell is my pencil? I usually have one laying around here. That's awesome. I love that. I'm going to earmark that because that shit's badass. You have to master the monotonous in order to become the ruler of your daily routine, which in turn leads you to literally being able to accomplish anything you set your mind to. That's powerful, guys. It's hard. It's rarely fun, but there is no other proven process for producing exceptional success, okay? I use the word exceptional because that's what it'll be if you master the monotonous. You will become an exception to the rule. You'll be an outlier, an overachiever, a god among mortals. You know why? Because the rest of the crowd is addicted to ease and excitement. They don't want to accept the fact that the road to achievement and success is often monotonous. They want to think that the experience of pursuing success is like a montage from a movie. You know what a montage is, right? It's a series of short scenes that all have common theme and basically summarize the part of the movie. Most of the time, when you watch a montage in a movie, there's some badass motivational song in the background. Here's an example from an old school Rocky movie, Rocky IV. This is when I really knew that Andy Frisella was definitely on the same wavelength as me. You know, I mean, it's got to be my favorite montage of all time, the Rocky IV one when he's training. Here we go. The montage is supposed to show us how Rocky trains to fight the bad Russian dude, Ivan Drago. Okay, and it goes like this. Rocky arrives in the cold Russian countryside. Rocky trains in an old farmhouse. Rocky jumps rope faster than anyone alive. Rocky performs amazing feats of strength. Rocky runs up the side of a fucking mountain. Rocky lifts his fist towards the sky and lets out his primal yell. The whole time the scenes are playing, there is hard motivational music. It's hearts on fire, slow desire. I think that's how it goes. The whole montage takes about 2 minutes. It's pretty cool, but it's not reality. Real life isn't a montage. There are quick scenes that shift from one moment to the next. There's no motivational music playing in the background. Real progress in real life takes a whole lot longer to develop. That's another awesome point. Real progress in real life takes a whole lot longer to develop. So, real quick, if you're not where you're supposed to be right now, but you're working towards it, you know, look, that's just, you know, look at your life and say, am I progressing? Am I moving forward? Because sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it takes longer than others, you know. The whole thing on the beer shows I used to talk about is comparison is the thief of joy. And don't compare yourself. You know, keep putting in the work, keep doing the monotonous shit, and you'll get there. Real life doesn't zip up rapid succession. It unfolds in a slowly steady progression that is often painstakingly and painfully dull. I know that kind of sucks, but the minute you realize and accept it as your truth, your life will change dramatically. You don't learn to compete or achieve success through a movie montage. You compete and achieve by mastering the monotonous. Okay, it takes ongoing commitment, relentless focus. If you try to tackle it all at once, you're going to fail. That's why the HEP 75 Hard requires you to do the same 5 critical tasks. And why you have to do the same 5 critical tasks exactly the same way every day, day after day, for 75 days. Yes, that's hard. That's really hard. But do you want to be happy or not? Do you want to be successful or not? Do you want to take quantum leaps forward in the pursuit of your own full potential or not? Do you want to accomplish things you never thought possible or not? Do you want to become the type of person that other people literally dream about or not? I don't know what about you, but I do. I do too. Me, Danny. All right. I want to leave a legacy behind me. Yes, please. I want to be a legend. Fuck yeah. You know what a legend understood that? In order to become that, you have to master the monotonous. Bruce Lee. Remember Bruce Lee? He was one of the most badass martial art masters of all times. He said, don't fear the man who has performed 1,000 kicks one time, but a man who has performed one kick 1,000 times. I love that. That's it. Mental toughness is the result of the constant, unflinching competition, completion, and monotonous of critical tasks. Happiness is built on the relentless repetition of character-building habits. Success comes from doing the boring but essential shit every day. Every single day. Pause and drink some water. Almost done. 75 Hard is going to require that you build the skill of mastering the monotonous. So tattoo that principle on your mind and heart and will. Third and finally, you have to know your purpose for pursuing the mental toughness. Remember, I think it was like episode 5, 6, or 7, somewhere in there, when I talked about my why. Know your why. Know exactly what is your why. A lot of people talk about the mental toughness and say, I like to be mentally tough, but they never ask themselves the questions, why? Why do you want to be mentally tough? Now, above all, I think the ultimate purposes can be, I want to be successful and happy. But in your own life, you have to be more specific than that. You have to be specific purpose and constantly remind yourself of that purpose. Why? Because it takes a lot of work to become mentally tough. It takes a lot of time and a lot of crazy energy. And if you don't really know what you're doing, you won't follow through, just like all the other times. So figure out what your purpose is. You don't have to overthink it either. Your purpose might be, I want to be rich. Your purpose might be, I want to look like The Rock. Your purpose might be, I want to have more confidence with women or men. Your purpose might be, I have high stress life. I want to handle it the best way possible. I love that. Your purpose might be, I want to set a better example for my kids and give them the best possible roadmap to follow in life so they don't end up being hunks of shit. To help you come up with your specific purpose, think about your personal vision for your life. Who do you want to become? What do you want to accomplish? You can become even more specific and break down your life into 3 categories: personal, professional, and physical. What's your wisdom for your life in each of those areas? Do you want to make it 6, 7, or 8 figures a year? Do you want to have confidence to meet and marry the person of your dreams? Do you want 6-pack abs? Yeah, what the hell? That all sounds great. I would love to make 8 figures a year, meet the woman of my dreams, although I know who she is, and have the confidence to go ahead and build a pair of 6-pack abs. Getting there, baby. Getting there. All right. Whether your purpose is to take time to actively visualize that purpose, whatever your purpose is, take time to actively visualize that purpose. Okay. Vividly picture in your mind what you are trying to achieve. The practice of visualization isn't for realizing your dreams. It's a key to becoming mentally tough. How so? Because vision drives discipline. Ask yourself this: why would you want to do something hard unless it resulted in something you really, really wanted? Nobody with a brain in their head is out there just punishing themselves for the sake of punishing themselves, except few that I get it. after 75 days. I promise you'll be among the few, no matter how far away from the current you that sounds. So what's your what's your purpose? What drives you? What do you really want? What is it you really need? You need to constantly identify that purpose because, like I said, vision drives discipline. Think about it, right? Just find a quiet spot. And I'm a big proponent and big person of the law of averages and the whole, law of attraction, which has law of averages and stuff, but visualizing stuff, finding quiet time to go ahead and, you can call it meditation, but when you visualize what you're going after and maybe kind of visualize yourself at the end of that and then work backwards, you can see yourself, whatever that is that you're setting out to do. I think that's so powerful. It's so good because, everybody thinks about, like, I'm going off in the book a little bit. Everybody, real quick, everybody thinks about, like, dreams, right? And they talk about, like, what's your dream big, and I'm one of the biggest proponents of that, talking about your dreams and stuff. But, like, when you go to that place to visualize and you see yourself doing that thing that you dream of and you see it, like, that's actually the dream, right? That 10, 15, 5, 1 minute time where you do it with music when you're driving, or maybe you find a quiet place where you actually just sit there and dream up your dream and visualize it, man. That's so powerful. And, like, if you decide to do 75 hard or not, that's up to you, but, like, that right there you should be doing. Find out what your dream is if you don't already know, and sit and think about it and visualize it and really take it in. Really seriously take it in and think in your mind what your life looks like, what you're going to be like, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to taste like, what it's going to smell like when you're doing that thing, and then work backwards so you can get there, right? Just, that is actually, living the dream is like you're taking away from all this mundane, monotonous things, and you're focused on your dream and what it actually is. And then you can kind of drive your discipline and do your daily habits and force yourself to do all those hard things to get there. I guarantee it, man. And I'm not saying this just because I'm reading this book. I've always been doing this. Start visualizing your dreams, man. It's powerful stuff. The law of attraction is super powerful. Let's finish up here. You won't put the work to create mental toughness unless you are clear on why you're working so hard. Okay. So with all that being said, let's talk specifically about each of the 5 critical tasks. Boom. And there it is, guys. Really, if you watch any one of my episodes, this is the one, because this is where it talks about tomorrow's chapter 13, critical task number 1, choose a diet and commit to it. I just switched up. Today was my first day on the carnivore diet, so a little weird, I was eating a lot of meat and eggs, and I was definitely excited about the no calorie restrictions. I got to 6 weeks at 1,500 calories, and I followed that shit dead on, man, dead on. I was counting calories, and then I was accurate as hell, man. I did not cheat, and now I'm going into the carnivore diet. We're going to find out more from the book about critical task number 1. But I hope that you found this episode entertaining. I hope you found some value. I hope that I went ahead and inspired one single person to give it a try. Thank you so much. We'll be back here tomorrow. Appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm Danny Soleil, a.k.a. Travel Man Dan, a.k.a. Reading Man Dan. And remember, it's a big world out there. Make sure you see every bit of it. Bye, guys.